and she leaves acting. She leaves Hollywood. She's gone. Some people might say that's sad. Others might say, well...
Christy McNichol was once one of Hollywood's brightest stars, a gifted actress with an infectious smile and a rare emotional depth that made her unforgettable. From the moment she stepped onto the screen as a child, audiences were captivated. By her early 20s, she had already won 2 Emmy Awards and starred in some of the most popular shows and films of the 1970s. But just as her career seemed unstoppable, Christy vanished from the spotlight without warning. Fans were left stunned, wondering why someone at the height of fame would simply walk away. Now, in her 60s, Christy has finally revealed her truth. A story of resilience, heartbreak, and rediscovery that shows what happens when the price of fame becomes too high to bear. Christy didn't come from Hollywood privilege. Her mother, Marilyn, worked any job she could find. Secretary, makeup seller, even movie extra, just to keep the family afloat. One day, while filming a small role in the low-budget movie Bigfoot, Marilyn brought her children, Christy and her brother Jimmy, along because she couldn't afford a sitter. Fate intervened when a crew member noticed the kids and suggested they try commercials. What started as an accident quickly turned into destiny. Soon, both children were auditioning, and while Jimmy had charm, Christy had something magnetic. By age 14, she landed her breakout role as Buddy in the Emmy-winning series Family. Her performance, raw and wise beyond her years, struck a chord with millions. But behind that maturity was a child who never really got to be one. At home, Christy had long played the adult, cleaning, worrying, holding things together. Her mother once admitted, "You're the mother, and I'm the child." For Christy, acting wasn't just a dream, it was a job, one she took far too seriously for someone so young. The fame that came with Family brought opportunity but also crushing pressure. Christy never said no to work, driven by a need to please and an inability to slow down. Between filming Family and hit movies like Little Darlings and The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, she was everywhere. On screen, she played teenagers finding themselves. But in reality, she was losing her own sense of identity. Her relentless schedule and emotional exhaustion eventually led to rebellion in small, harmless ways. Food fights, pranks, fleeting attempts to reclaim the childhood she'd skipped. She later said, "It was like I wanted to live my childhood under." The world saw a polished young star, but behind the curtain, Christy was quietly falling apart. By the early 1980s, Christy's anxiety and depression were mounting. During the filming of Just the Way You Are in France, her mental health hit a breaking point. Terrified, sleepless, and unable to cope, she confided in her manager. But instead of empathy, she was told to push through. Alone and unraveling, she barely made it through production before collapsing emotionally. A doctor finally diagnosed her with years of buried anger and unprocessed trauma, urging her to stop. And for the first time in her career, Christy did. She walked away. But Hollywood can be cruel to those who pause. Rumors swirled. Tabloids accused her of addiction and instability. The truth was far simpler and sadder. Christy was struggling with severe anxiety and depression, conditions that few in the industry understood then. Though she returned to finish the film, the magic was gone. Her later movies failed to recapture her earlier success, and the pressure of constantly being perfect became unbearable. In 1988, she found some stability in the sitcom Empty Nest, where she played Officer Barbara Weston for 7 years. It seemed like a comeback, but internally, she was still battling the same demons. Eventually, Christy was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, finally giving a name to the chaos she'd endured for years. In 1992, she quietly left the show, and by 2001, she made her retirement official, saying, "I felt it was time to play my biggest part, myself." After decades of living for cameras, she wanted to live for herself. In the years since, Christy McNichol has built a peaceful life far from Hollywood's glare. She found solace in yoga, tennis, and the quiet company of her dogs. She taught acting, sang in choirs, and supported local arts programs, giving back to the creative world on her own terms. In 2012, she came out publicly as gay, not for publicity, but to help others struggling with their identity and mental health. It was another act of courage from a woman who had learned, finally, to embrace her truth. Now, in her 60s, Christy describes her life as serene and full. She lives with gratitude, close to her brother Jimmy, the one constant who stood by her through fame, breakdowns, and recovery. Christy McNichol's story isn't one of tragedy. It's one of strength. She chose healing over fame, peace over pressure, and authenticity over applause. Her journey reminds us that sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is walk away. After all the roles she's played, Christy has finally found the one that matters most: being herself. And for the first time, that's more than enough.